This is the real picture of the murderer Brian Cohee and his victim Warren Barnes. He was 19 years old, while his victim Warren was 69 years old at the time of the murder.
Imagine stumbling upon a scene from your darkest nightmares in your own child's bedroom. This is the grim reality that befell the parents of 19-year-old Brian Cohee back in February 2021. In the Cohee household, nestled in the heart of Grand Junction, Colorado, life was as typical as it could be. Days filled with the usual hustle and bustle, a family living their lives completely unaware of the chilling secret lurking within their own walls. But then, one fateful day, that secret was unearthed. In a quiet corner of Brian's bedroom, tucked away in the back of his closet, lay a grisly discovery. Dismembered body parts, including the head, of a 69-year-old homeless man named Warren Barnes. Barnes, a local man often seen sleeping under a nearby bridge, had mysteriously disappeared. Never could anyone have imagined his fate would be uncovered in such a horrifying manner. The shock and horror that gripped Brian's parents are unimaginable. Their son, a seemingly average teenager, now implicated in a heinous act so gruesome it was beyond their wildest nightmares. The silence of the house was shattered by the chilling reality, the normalcy of their lives upended in the blink of an eye. In a state of disbelief and fear, they did what any law-abiding citizen would do. They dialed the three numbers that signified hope in their darkest hour: 911. The call to the police was a desperate plea for help, a cry for answers in a situation so grotesque and unthinkable. The call to the police set in motion a chilling investigation that would unravel the heinous act committed by a seemingly average teenager. This was only the beginning of a journey into the heart of darkness, a journey that would reveal the monster hiding beneath the facade of a typical teenager. Behind the facade of a regular teenager, a monster was lurking. Brian Cohee, at just 19 years old, seemed like your average young man. He went to school, hung out with friends, and lived what appeared to be an ordinary life. But underneath this normalcy, a chilling darkness was brewing. Cohee's life leading up to the horrific crime was punctuated by subtle signs of abnormal behavior. There were the unexplained mood swings, the sudden withdrawal from social activities, and a growing fascination with violent video games and movies. But these warning signs went unnoticed, dismissed as typical teenage angst. On the fateful night of the crime, a different side of Brian Cohee emerged. As the city of Grand Junction, Colorado slept, Cohee embarked on a grisly journey. Underneath a bridge, he found Warren Barnes, a 69-year-old homeless man, sleeping defenseless and unaware of the fate that awaited him. The chilling details of that night have been pieced together by the tireless efforts of the police force. Cohee attacked Barnes, his victim, with a brutality that belied his age. The senseless act of violence didn't stop there. In a macabre twist, Cohee dismembered Barnes, taking parts of his victim back to his home, a grotesque trophy of his monstrous act. The discovery of these body parts in Cohee's bedroom closet by his unsuspecting parents brought the ghastly crime to light. Their son, whom they thought they knew, was not the person they believed him to be. Instead, they were living with a cold-blooded killer, a reality that would shake anyone to their core. The chilling events of that night revealed the true face of Brian Cohee. Beneath the veneer of a normal teenager was a ruthless monster, capable of a crime that would shock the community and leave an indelible mark on the lives of all involved. Warren Barnes, a homeless man with a history unknown, became the unfortunate victim of Brian's disturbing act. Warren Barnes was not just another face in the crowd, but a man who had his own life, his own struggles, and his own story. Living on the streets of Grand Junction, Colorado, Warren was known to be a quiet man who kept to himself. With a life shrouded in mystery, he became part of the city's invisible population, often overlooked and forgotten by most. Warren's life on the streets was not an easy one. The harsh Colorado winters, the relentless struggle for food and warmth, and the constant uncertainty of shelter were his daily realities. But despite these challenges, Warren did not lose his sense of humanity. He was known to share whatever little he had with others, a testament to his character in the face of adversity. It was under a bridge, where Warren sought refuge from the biting cold, that he crossed paths with Brian Cohee. A place he had come to consider a temporary home became the setting of a horrendous crime. The circumstances leading up to the tragic event remain unknown, but what we do know is that Warren's life was brutally taken away from him. His death was not just a shocking crime, but also a poignant reflection of the vulnerability faced by those living on the fringes of society. His untimely and tragic end underscores the harsh reality of life on the streets, where safety is often a luxury beyond reach. In the wake of this tragedy, it is important to remember Warren Barnes not just as a victim, but also as a person. A person who, despite his circumstances, exhibited kindness and resilience in the face of hardship. His life, as challenging as it was, is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure. Warren's tragic end serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of society's marginalized. In the courtroom, justice was sought for Warren Barnes. The trial was a tense affair, an atmosphere heavy with anticipation and dread. 19-year-old Brian Cohee, the accused, sat stoically as the proceedings unfolded, a stark contrast to the monstrous crime he was charged with. The prosecution presented a litany of damning evidence, from the gruesome remains found in Cohee's bedroom closet, to the chilling testimony of his parents who made the grisly discovery. The defense, on the other hand, struggled to humanize their client, a task made near impossible by the horrific nature of the crime. The jury listened, faces grim, as the litany of horrors was laid out before them. It was a trial that would forever be seared into the memory of all who were present. The testimonies were heart-wrenching, the evidence stomach-churning, and the atmosphere in the courtroom was one of palpable shock and disbelief. After days of grueling proceedings, the jury retired to deliberate. The verdict, when it came, was unanimous. Guilty as charged. The courtroom, so fraught with tension moments before, breathed a collective sigh of relief. Then came the sentencing. Judge Gurley, a stern figure who had presided over the trial with a grave sense of duty, addressed Cohee directly. His voice echoed in the silent courtroom as he handed down the sentence. Life in prison, plus an additional 13.5 years. No chance of parole. A sentence befitting the heinous nature of the crime. The reactions were a mix of relief, sorrow, and grim satisfaction. Cohee's parents, who had lived through a parent's worst nightmare, wept openly. The community, rocked by the brutality of the crime, saw justice served, and for the memory of Warren Barnes, a semblance of peace was restored. While justice was served, it did little to erase the horror of the crime. The trial may have ended, but the echoes of this monstrous act will linger, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places. The echoes of this chilling crime still resonate today. In the wake of this gruesome act, the Cohee family was left shattered. They were forced to grapple with the harsh reality that their 19-year-old son Brian was capable of such a monstrous act. Their home, once filled with the normalcy of everyday life, turned overnight into a chilling crime scene. The local community of Grand Junction, Colorado, was equally shaken. The shocking news of Warren Barnes's murder rippled through the town, shattering the quiet tranquility that once prevailed. People began to look over their shoulders, their sense of safety replaced with unease and fear. On a broader scale, this heinous crime forced the public to confront some uncomfortable truths. It highlighted the urgent need for improved mental health services for teenagers. Brian Cohee was not born a murderer. His descent into such violence raises questions about the support he received, or lack thereof, for his mental health struggles. Moreover, the brutal murder of Warren Barnes, a homeless man, underscored the vulnerability of our society's homeless population. This tragedy brought into stark focus the need for more robust support systems for those living on the streets, who are often overlooked and marginalized. But the implications of this crime run even deeper. It forces us to question the very fabric of our society. How did we, as a community, as a nation, fail to see the signs? How did we fail to help a troubled teenager before it was too late, and fail to protect a vulnerable man sleeping under a bridge? As we grapple with the horror of what Brian Cohee did, we are left with a haunting question: how can we prevent such a tragedy from happening again? As we seek answers, let us remember that it is not just about finding justice for Warren Barnes, but also about creating a society where such acts of violence are inconceivable.